What's up, y'all? What's going on?
Welcome. Thinking Game Podcast. What
Num-
episode are we on?
Number 37.
37. 37. Like Rodney Harrison.
Yeah, we not gonna stop. We like Diddy. I
Take
thought I
that,
told
take
you
that.
that we won't stop. Take that, take that, take that. So, what we finna do pretty much is talk about networking and leveling up, knowing when it's time to level up, knowing, what's a good networking opportunity. So, on this podcast, we're going to talk about the power of networking and leveling up without taking advantage of another person. Sometimes that could be a challenging task
Yes.
because it seems like we're in a world that everybody's taking advantage of everybody.
Dog eat dog what?
And when you grow up in the hood, it seems like that's probably one of your first lessons is either learn how to take advantage of somebody or learn how to not let somebody take advantage of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
It's only room for one big dog. You got to
Boy.
be on the top.
boy,
You know what I mean? If he eating, you can't eat.
Boy.
You know what I mean?
For
The
real.
strongest survive. Every
Only
man
the
for himself
strong survive.
mentality.
yep,
And that's not just that's not a way. That's not the only way
right.
to
Definitely.
come up.
For sure. So, when we get into it, and our first topic is networking important?
You know what I mean? Is it a social thing? You know what I mean? Just being friendly, getting to know people, rubbing elbows. You know what I mean? Sucking up to the boss. You know what I mean? Is that really networking? Is that the networking we're talking about? Being friendly. You know what I mean?
I think
Or
if we did like a chart of networking, there'll probably be like maybe a sub thing of networking, like brown nosing or stuff like that.
the lower levels.
Yeah. Socially, it's a social network or Facebook, right? Networking. And then there's corporate networking. Then if you're an entrepreneur, I think that probably still fall on the corporate, right?
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to talk to people that are not you, that don't look like you. Especially if you live in Southwest, where we're from, the more you get out of Southwest and you start working jobs and moving up, the less likely you're going to see more people from Southwest. You're going to see less and less and less. Learning how to meet the person, you may meet a person at an event or working at a job, and they could be the person that'll hire you on your next job.
You know exactly.
You hear people say it's not what you know, it's who you know. Some people think that's a myth, but it just depends on who you are and where you at. But I've personally seen people get jobs just because he went to lunch with the guy and shook his hand. He had a good conversation, and he hired him because he just liked talking to him.
Yeah.
Seen it with my own
always,
2 eyes.
Exactly. Always put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
Look the part. Be open.
Yeah.
It's being friendly and being a suck up is two different things.
Definitely. And you don't want to be introvert. I understand some people are quiet, but you don't want to be introverted all the time, especially, if you want to get to a certain amount or you want to have a certain amount of success. Most of the jobs that pays, you have to talk.
Yeah.
A lot of jobs that you don't talk, you may get paid a little bit. You may be like mid-level but you don't get paid like the high management to executive level. They do a lot of talking, a lot of meetings, and you just go around and you meet about things, solving problems, executing plans and stuff like that. But if you want to be a tech and just work on computers or something like that and not talk to nobody, it's gonna be hard because somebody got to bring that computer to you.
Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. Well,
Yeah.
I'll be my own boss and I don't have to talk to people. I'll let my work speak for itself. But you got to advertise. You got to really network.
Market yourself.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's marketing. You know what I mean? People want to do business with you. How can they see you? You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Your work sometimes don't speak for itself. I mean, because you're not maybe selling cars or anything like that. How does that work?
Right.
You know
It's just
what I
like
mean?
when we talked about I seen the clip. They was talking about how politicians their salary is like $100K or something like that.
Yeah.
But they be in the office worth like $100 million. How do you think they get to the $100 million? Whether it's right or wrong, that's up to you to decide on it. But how do you think they get there? They get in there
Yeah.
And, you know, some people say, I'm going to be clean and host, man. I ain't going to network with nobody. Well, stick with your base salary. And then you meet somebody and say, hey, man, I know a deal. If you get in on this deal, this is probably like a 40% return.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. All you got to do is vote this bill or, you know, pass this, help me pass this.
we'll take care of you on the back end.
Yeah. And people don't think about the people thinking they wouldn't do that, but they never been in that situation.
Exactly.
Like you never been in a situation where a guy, you know, walk up to you with this this duffel bag. It got 250 grand in there. Somebody, can you vote on this bill? I got this bag for you. He
No
just leave it there. Y'all go to lunch, he leave it right there by your feet. You gonna leave it right there on the floor, and you gonna take it with you. Think about that. Don't even answer that. Just think about what would you do. I know what I do, but what would you do? That's probably why I'm not in it. I know what I do. Especially if it's cash.
Yep.
No trace. It's all cash.
Yeah, and it's just sometimes it doesn't even look like that. They'll give you business, right? You know what I mean? You got a detail shop, and I got a car lot. You know what I mean?
Boy.
If you do me this favor,
Oh, yeah,
I'll let
definitely.
you detail all my cars for the premium price.
Right.
You know what I mean? And things like that. Or, you're just a good man. I know your work. You know what I mean? You work, you detail my son's car. You know what I
Right.
mean? I got a car lot. I like your work. You know what I mean? And so you talking to me, being nice to me, or doing a good job on my son's car or my car or whatever.
Right.
You get that business. You know what I mean? That's, networking. You know what I mean? Because I need a service. You know what I mean? And, oh, hey, don't you do that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? That's so we know each other socially. You know what I mean? And then we connected that professionally.
And some jobs you work at, you have networking opportunities to meet other people. Some jobs you don't. Like working at factory jobs, you probably don't have a chance to network with other people. You probably on the assembly line or a certain space. That's where you are, and that's where you're gonna be. Working at like say companies like hospitals, where it's like you walk around different areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hospitals, working at a college, working at a small company, but it's people you can walk around and meet and stuff like that. That's why I like working in IT personally, is because you get to meet different people. You get to meet everybody from the CEO all the way down to the janitor. You know what I'm saying? You just never know who you'll meet, and that's one of the good things about networking, because not only could they actually give you a job, sometimes they can refer you to somebody that they know, because they know your skill and who you are, and they be like, well, I can't get you a job here, but like, hey, Mike, I know somebody. I got a buddy who's hiring over here in this. Do you want to fill out for this?
Yeah.
Happens just like that.
Yeah.
No problem.
And then, like, I've worked in the hospital. Sometimes you want to, promotion, or you want to level up.
Yeah.
Just asking questions of when you see somebody who's doing something that you're curious about or you want to do. Like, you can just talk to those people and they can say, hey, this is the education ladder you need to climb.
Yeah.
You do this first, and then you 1, 2, 3, and you do these steps, you know what I mean? And that's a form of networking, or mentorship, you know what I mean? Or they can say, hey, I got in this program, a lot of people don't know this, but if you're an employee, you get these discounts, like, you know what I mean? Just talking to that person.
Right.
You know about these resources now.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just a, form of
And
locker room talk.
And some people, if a kid watch this and say, well, man, that's boring. Guess what? Success is boring. Maintain success is boring. It's wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
There's nothing exciting about maintain success. You got to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. You have to have a mindset that you're going to think through things even though it may not be in your favor or the odds may be against you. And some people that may be boring to, but I'm telling you, if you understand that, you can plan out your map to success. Because sometimes it is boring. But what I would say is I'd rather be bored and successful than be full of excitement and broke.
The excitement is you don't know where your next meal going to come from, and you don't know who you got to rob to get that meal.
Boy.
You know what I mean? Or
Boy.
who you got to con.
Now you got to network with the dudes in the hood now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what
And
I'm
then
saying?
people always say, that was a good point you made, consistency. Rinse, wash, repeat. well, if you want to get something you never got before, you got to do something you never did.
Boy.
That's not like if you're doing good and you got good habits. You know what I mean? You got a good work ethic. Don't change that. Keep going. You chip and build and build and build.
Boy.
You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I mean, taking them gambling, trying to roll the dice on a big come up, sometimes it's not just a one hit thing.
No.
You gotta consistently do the work. You know what I mean? And just keep going. You know what I mean? You making all A's in school, hey, keep doing that.
Boy, keep doing that.
You know what I mean? Just keep doing that. I mean, I know it's boring, simple, and you want a dramatic change, and people telling you to get something you never got. You got to do something. No, keep doing that good stuff. Now, if you lazy and you want something different, yes, you need to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to do something different because you want something different.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But if you're doing good and you just get weary and well doing,
boy,
hey, just keep trying. You know what I mean? Maybe you put the goal on your wall. You see your graduation. Put a cap and gown in your closet or, on your door so you can see that. You see the goal.
Yeah.
Maybe print the check of your yearly salary of the job that you want. Put that on your mirror because that's what you're working for. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and before we move to this next question, I'm going to put it out there. Look, if you want to chop it up with us youth, even somebody our age, understand about this corporate thing. I'm not saying I'm an expert or I'm perfect, but I can tell you that I done been through some play. I done went down some journeys and roads in this corporate. Yeah. If you want to sit down and make a strategy, come holler at us, man. We can make it. We can chop it up with you. We can put you on but you have to execute the plan. We can make a plan for you. We can make a strategy for you. But I'm saying the difference between most people is the execution.
Yeah.
Can you execute the plan? Can you stay with the plan even if the odds are not in your favor or things are starting to happen around you? That's the hard part, Some people start on a plan, they're like, well, man, I got to do this and do that, so I got to stop, and you never go back to the plan. That's the hard part, is sticking to the plan.
Even if it's boring.
Because I did that. I went to school first. I got my 2-year degree, got the job at the ISP place, and I should have kept going, but I stopped when I got the associate. I said, I'm good now. Yeah. I shouldn't have done it. I should have stayed on the plan and got the 4-year. However, I wouldn't trade it nothing for the world because that in between working in IT and then going back to school, I knew what I wanted to go to school for, and I understood a lot of how things work now. You know what I'm saying? So, but definitely find a plan and stick with it. And sometimes you got to make adjustments to the plan. You think about an NFL game, right? A good coach make adjustments to the plan. A lot of times, if you stick to one plan, it may not work for that team.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you, to the young kids, right? To the young guys out there. When we was younger, right? We used to say we used to have a game plan, like a game chart. If the game you run on this girl is only one plan, you just gonna keep running the ball. That's not gonna work. She has a good defense. It's not gonna work. She putting 8 in the box. So you still gonna run the ball with 8 in the box, or you gonna try to pass the ball?
Good luck.
You know what I'm saying? But some people like that. They gonna keep running the same plan. Yeah. But the good coach,
it worked before. Yeah. It worked. You know what I mean? The past semesters, or it worked in undergrad. It worked for this. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you got to make those adjustments. Now we're gonna move into this next question. Are there a lot of networking opportunities in the inner city, in the hood, in Southwest?
They're hidden or they're unconventional. You know what I mean?
Yes,
the
definitely unconventional.
Work opportunities may be in the form of mentorship or, you know what I mean, some kind of awkward, seeing somebody do something bad and you applying the information into a good thing. You know what I mean? But like if you got an opportunity where you see people volunteering, outreach thing, maybe your church, you know what I mean? It's a lot of professionals, even in, in the hood, those local churches, you know what I mean? If you get in there, you get into ministry. It's a lot of times professionals, lawyers, doctors, pharmacists, what have you. If you can get in your church and get with some of these ministry leaders, sometimes you can find a mentor under that, especially as youth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being around these people who dress nice, got nice cars, and just professionals and carry themselves different, and it doesn't look like the hood. That's can be maybe your first line of networking and mentorship.
Here's
You
the
know what I mean?
algebra.
So,
Here's the algebra equation that I see growing up. Going to school at McClellan, growing up in Southwest, being an adult now. A lot of times, people that we grew up around in Southwest, older people, you stereotype your own people.
most deaf.
What school you go to? I went to McClellan. Ooh, I don't know if I wanted to deal with him. You know, stuff like that. You go to Parkview. Oh, yeah. I can talk. And you deal with stuff like that. Like, you try to network with somebody, and they already got this pre-notion of who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or
They won't even come pick you up.
the other side of that is, we talk about this all the time, is that, you know, you see this person go to college, see them finish college, and they're not executing, or they got the wrong degree and they still working at the retail store.
Yeah, that's very disheartening.
Not being a manager.
Yeah.
We talking about working a retail store as a regular employee, you know what I'm saying? Stocking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you got a bachelor's degree. You know what I'm saying?
That's, I mean, as
And
a
that
youth,
make a
it's hard
kid
to
say,
look at.
not all kids, but somebody got to be like, wait a minute, I know you went to school. I know you did. But why are you still stocking at Walmart? This ain't your second job to get extra money. This is your primary source of income.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I see that a lot too. Like, you see their whole community thing, like, you know.
You did the right thing. You went to school. You didn't go to jail. And your life looks like, you know, that's.
Or they just, because a kid from Southwest, you know what I'm saying? You just get this pre-notion judge, you know what I'm saying? And the other person from Southwest too. That's what's crazy. Like, you grew up in Southwest too. Probably did some of the same stuff I did.
Yeah.
It did when a person try to network with you, you know. And a lot of times, most people in the inner city just don't have the resources like that. Like, if you meet somebody that's a mentor that, you know, live outside the Southwest, that live in, you know, affluent areas or something like that, they got access to more resources. Like, a lot of people in Southwest don't have access. I'm gonna say not all, but majority. We'd say about 60% of people in Southwest don't have access like that.
Yeah. In their day-to-day
And
lives.
the people who get that access, they end up moving away. They don't live here.
Yeah,
They don't live in Southwest. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you going to want to have nice things and then somebody trying to rob you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. And they know you got nice things. You know what I mean? Like, say, your mom, like, well, let's say when you were in 7th grade, your mom graduated nursing school, right?
Right.
By the time you're in 9th grade, y'all moving.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Because y'all,
Definitely.
you know, y'all kind of leveled up out of there. And I mean, I don't, you know, blame the people. You know what I mean?
No, they don't blame
you. got a people.
But they don't come back and, like, you know, reach out either.
Yeah, I mean, because they don't feel like, and that's the thing, too.
That's what we're trying to change with this podcast. We're trying to reach out even before we get to that.
They don't have anything to offer. Like, well, man, I'm just a loan officer. You know what I mean? I just work in IT. Well, I'm just a nurse. You're a professional. You went to school. Yeah. You have a career. Like, you have a voice. Like, or you're a plumber. You're an electrician.
Yeah.
Electrician.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You have a voice, and you have you know, the route you took was unique.
Mm-hmm.
And you came from a background that they came from. And you, like, said 60% don't have access. Well, 60% of those parents, you know what I mean, haven't been out of Arkansas, or the furthest they've been is to Memphis in like 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how are their children supposed to have this vision or see out of the hood or out of their neighborhood? Some of them haven't, you know, been past the railroad tracks on either direction.
See, this is a thinking game moment right there, because I understand what you're saying. Like, when you're on the median income, you're not taking a lot of family vacations. But what I would tell a kid, because I didn't take a lot of family vacations, living in a single parent household, we went on family reunion trips, stuff like that. But as far as we did some, but we didn't do it like every summer. It just wasn't feasible. You know what I'm saying? what I would tell a kid that's in that situation is it's so much information out there now that instead of if you take half of the time that you're on social media and try to learn another skill set or learn something that's digital on the computer, then you can look at social media and work on the computer at the same time, like multitask. You can learn something that you can, learn a skill set that can go nationwide. You know what I'm saying? Think about that.
Let somebody, pay for the skills that you have. And guess what? You know what I mean? It's so many skills. Look, and it may be a skill that you find fun. And, it's easy to you. You're like, I can do this all day. I can look at this zeros and ones, slashes, backslashes, you know what I mean? And you can look at that all day. You know what I mean? So,
because another thing I think it's hard for people in the inner city to mentor and network because they still trying to make it with the median income.
mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have time. Like, the job that you work takes so much out of you that only thing you could do is really go home, eat, and go to sleep and get ready for the next day. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of a lot of the reasons, too, with the inner cities. Like, people work those kind of jobs to where, you got these jobs, got you working, 12-hour, 16-hour shifts. And by the time you get off, it's only 24 hours in a day, 16-hour shift.
And you got to work overtime to, kind of have any kind of money. So that, that's 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. Then you got to go home and be a parent full time, too.
Boy.
Supplemented education, you know what I mean? Sitting down, doing homework with them, teaching them those extra skills.
Right.
Moral skills, spiritual in some households, trying to, teach them how to manage money, curfew, write correctly, you know what I mean? Let alone.
And that's what we trying to change. We could have waited until we got in our 50s and stuff and, gotten to a point where we feel like we good or something like that. But we thought about what if we do that in the middle age and go back to the kids. We're only 10, 15 years separated from y'all, and we telling y'all before you get into this journey, you need to think about this, this, and this. Think about it's the little things that build up to the big things.
Yeah.
And if you're not taught that, it's the little things built up to the big thing. If it's not reinforced so you can understand that, it's going to be a struggle for you to reach the big thing because you don't have the little things in place. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what we're trying to get you to understand. Sometimes if you don't have that little gear, the big gears won't turn. Sometimes you need that little gear in the middle
to connect them. Yeah,
to connect them together. And so the last question on networking that we're going to ask is, how does a person become good at networking?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
But just get rid of their fear. You know what I mean? A person
definitely.
is a person. You know what I mean? Be eager to learn. You know what I mean? If you be curious, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you see somebody doing something that you might, stick your little nose in there. Like what y'all, what y'all doing over here? Y'all making money over here. You know what I mean? What's going on? Reaching outside, like. Well, everybody over here got nothing. The people over here got a lot. You know what I mean? Let's see what they got. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out how things work. You know what I mean? And not afraid to ask. People are people.
So, and for me, I think is you have to be objective as you can.
Yep.
Because when you're learning different cultures, every culture is different. Everybody don't think the same. Everybody don't move the same. Everybody not on code the same. Different conversations. The conversation from Southwest, the conversation from being on University, Midtown, or whatever they call it now. The conversation from being on Cantrell. 3 different conversations.
Yeah.
You can say code switching all you want, but look at a lot of these people who making money. Most people that's making money are probably code switching. I'm talking about the high-level people. You can't go in the bank talking like you from Southwest. It ain't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Unless they know you already got money or something like that, and they just catering to you because you got money. But a regular person out the street, not going to happen. Going into an interview talking like you from Southwest or talking like you from somewhere else, Not gonna work. You can't go into an interview like, you want to get a job making 6 figures. You come in there, wow, man, y'all ain't gonna give me no money, man. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? You walk in there shaking it. You're like, dude, it's a professional setting. It's not a laid back. This ain't, rolling with the homies kind of setting. You know what I'm saying? This is the career that could take care of you and that could take care of your family kind of career.
Boy.
And then, you thinking that I'm going to be the same all the way around. I'm same OG like Genuine. Then you realize same OG don't pay $100,000 though.
Boy.
You know what I'm saying? So being objective, man, and understanding, being able to have many dimensions to you. Don't be just a one-dimensional person.
Yeah, and even if you're trying to get out of the environment and you go to school and you're talking like that, or you don't want to network or communicate differently, you can't even talk to your professors, you know what I mean, for the little extra help you need, or maybe, you know what I mean, because like you got to develop a relationship with your teachers, even though you're doing the right thing. It's kind of
I did that one time, bro.
Hard to stand alone.
I did that one time. I was taking art class. This guy was from Russia. He was like, I think he was like, I don't want to mess up his culture, but it's like Pakistani, maybe somewhere in there, but it was like on the edge of Russia or something like that.
Oh yeah,
but he was real big on like he didn't like you to say his name. He wanted you to call him professor.
Oh yeah.
I worked for it. I want you to call me professor. And it's like, okay, professor. Okay, I need help with this. Whatever you want to be called. I don't care if you want to be called Ninja Turtle. Whatever. Just tell me. Ninja Turtle. I need help with this. You know what I'm saying?
Master Splinter, like, that's you.
But you got to be objective about it. You can't take that personal, though. Like, man, what this dude think you talking to? I ain't calling you nothing. And when you start taking stuff personal, that's hard to network when you take everything personal. Yeah. Small talk. People do small talking. Yeah, I'll get back with you. I'll call you. And
then, people, some people are really against small talk. I don't do that. I don't like. And then you just walk around being stern. You know what I mean? And then, the boss come in. Oh, now you chip her up. Now, right. You know what I mean? People notice that. You know what I mean? The middle managers.
Everybody small talks though. That's the thing. Yeah. People, the world is just so full of bigotry. Like everybody be saying what they don't like, but people do it.
Some people just not good at it, or they think they're not good at it. You just not interesting.
Right.
You just don't have nothing.
Or you
to
do
say.
it a different way.
You don't have no charm. You don't have no sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't like small talk.
Charismatic, being charismatic, definitely make you good in networking.
That's a skill. Like some people get it, some people don't.
Yeah.
But if you're not charismatic, you don't have a really sense of humor. But maybe you are very detail oriented. That can be. It's good to have conversations with detail oriented people. You're gonna keep track of everything.
Unless
everybody is different.
OCD.
Yeah. Everybody is different. You bring something different to the table. You know what I mean? Everybody is not gonna be the life of the party. You know what I mean? But if you charismatic, you know what I mean, that could help.
Yeah.
Some people like to exploit this. You know what I mean?
Boy.
They'll come in work, laugh and grin, smiling. You know what I mean? Didn't do nothing for 4 hours. Just talking to folks, have everybody laughing, the boss laughing. Boy. You know what I mean? It's like, man, Trevor didn't do nothing.
But see, here's the thing too. Work on this before you get to the money. How to be charismatic, how to be objective. Because if you get money, people play you different.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh boy,
you think people like you for real?
Oh yeah, you think you are charismatic? You got money because you got money.
Yeah,
but people laughing at your jokes when you broke, when you ain't got money.
Boy,
because they're always gonna laugh when you got money. It was like, what was that Kevin Hart movie? Nick West. Every time you say something, they start laughing.
And that's when the giraffe ate the carrot.
Oh man! Oh Bob, you're so funny, man. But yeah, so learn these skills before you get to the money. You know what I'm saying? And like you say, getting to the money, most people think it's like a quick get-rich scheme. It's not. It's actually a maintained success. Wash, rinse, repeat. Not the most exciting thing in the world, but I promise you, you'd rather be boring and successful than exciting and broke. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and then wash, rinse, repeat. You know what I mean? Like you can. do other things with your investments, and you can take chances and risks.
Right.
We're not saying just stay in a little lane, but consistency is very important.
Oh,
Discipline
definitely.
is very important.
Yeah.
Don't just expect to roll the dice one time and it was just one thing I did that made it. Some people have that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Some people
Right.
create Facebook. You know what I mean? Even with Bezos, with Amazon, it wasn't just one day. Amazon was, Amazon. You know what I
Right.
mean? It was just that little internet where you, internet thing where you sell books.
Right. And see, here's another thing
You know what I
too.
mean? But it kept at it.
I think a lot of people we don't have that exposure to is that when we talk about being consistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a good point right here. There are a lot of people who are so consistent on social media with posting.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that there's a job. You can work for a company, be their social media manager, and you just do their post for them.
Yeah.
They, sometimes they give you the content to post, you proofread it, post it, or they ask you to do it. But you get paid to post content to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yep.
And maybe they do YouTube videos. You may make that, but you're doing their content. It's content
You
management.
respond, you reply, and all that. That's
you get paid for that. But guess what? If you can't network, if you walk in there, and not fitting the part, because perception is part of networking, knowing how to play the perception game. Not letting it drive you in the ground like doing crazy stuff, but knowing how if I wear this suit, this watch, and this ring, or this suit and these shoes, and some Sesame Street socks, when I walk in this interview, somebody gonna get captured by this. Yeah. Either the suit, either the socks, or the watch.
And that lets you in. You can,
hey, what kind of socks you got on, man? I like those socks, man. Oh man, these Sesame Street, man. I like Elmo, man. That's my guy, man.
I support Bert and Ernie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because I've been in interviews like that, and somebody will break the whole interview and say, "Excuse me, but what kind of socks are those you got on?"
You know
and
what
I
I mean?
like, got them.
Are those Bugle Boy jeans you're wearing?
Or wear the bow tie, right? Man, where'd you get that bow tie at? Oh, this tie up, man. This ain't no clip on, bro. This total silk, 100% silk, baby.
It's actually a regular tie. I turned it into a bow tie.
Exactly. So,
you know what I mean? And that's a thing too. Being really, really social on social media, then you meet people and you not that, person. Like, you know what I mean? You have a really good resume.
Right.
Your LinkedIn, everything's good, but you really seem
but you
dry
can't sell
because you lack those communication skills or networking skills.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the same thing in social media, your presence or your resume. It looks good, but sir, hey,
your resume gets you in the door.
Yeah,
they just get you in the door to the interview.
You know what I mean?
But when you sit down in that chair and you looking at 2 or 3 people, that's where the networking skills come in. That's where your talking skills, your communication skills come in. And then, like I say, those 4 things: SECM, skill set, education, communication, and mindset. You work on those 4 things. You got to keep working on them too. You got to get better at all 4 of them simultaneously. If I said that right, but all at the same time. If you can understand
gonna
those.
Start. You know what I mean. One may be 100. You know what I mean. The other ones may be 2 or 3.
Right.
One may be 50. You know what I mean. But when you get all of them to 100, you know what I mean. You gotta start 250. You know what I mean. Set that standard a little bit higher.
Exactly.
Just because you want your pay to grow, you want your value to grow as well.
Yeah. So now going to the next section, the level up. The level up. Can you recognize when you are approaching a point when it's time to level up? Can you recognize that? That's why I want to ask the question. Can you as an individual, without having to tell somebody, without having to ask a lot of questions, you just understand like you have this time frame to do this, and when you reach that time frame, do you know? I give you a scenario, right? Let's say you go work. We're talking about like DHS, right?
Mm-hmm.
DHHS. I think it's DHHS now. You work at the state or a state job in general, just a state job. You start out, you making $32,000, right? You've been there for 3 years, no raise.
Yeah.
Is it time for you to level up, or you say I'm good? I just stay right here. Depends on the person. For me, I'm trying to go up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fuss about it. I'm not gonna fight about it. But what I will be doing is increasing my value while I'm in that position. And when it's time to hit the free agent market, it's time. I'm not going to get your permission because you don't have to have permission. Just like they can fire you at will, you can find another job at will.
And that's the thing right there. They say you're asking for too much, you know what I mean, with a raise. Or I've been in this position, you know what I mean, there's no growth, there's no nothing. And you're supposed to be happy, you know what I mean? You're supposed to be praising me for this, but they don't give you the raise. They acting like you doing something to them, or you offending them by even asking. And then when you get a new job, or you say, hey, this is my 2 weeks, or I was looking for something, they act surprised like you're doing something to them.
And see, that's the thinking game. That's why we call it the thinking game, right? You got to think through these little games they play with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're asking for too much. Why am I asking for too much? I mean, it's just this ain't even living level income. 32,000. Like if you're making a job there and they get mad because you ask for more, like this ain't even. I can't even live on my own, like, sustainable with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably, like, roommating with somebody, or this probably have to be, like, a combined income situation. But I'm asking for too much. Now, you got to think about, too, what position are you working to?
Yeah.
Like, if you're doing something that is only one task and it's not to that company, it's like something that's you're not bringing in high revenue. They're paying you out of the revenue. They probably not going to pay as much.
Yeah.
You got to have a specific skill that's worth something in a company, and you have to figure that out based on where you live. Like living in Little Rock, some skill sets not going to translate here versus if you lived in New York or, lived in L.A. or some bigger cities, because Little Rock is not based around, this ain't Silicon Valley. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Is there IT position here? Sure, there's IT position, but you're not gonna. It ain't like working at Google or something. You're not gonna get that kind of money working in Little Rock, or you probably could. You probably have to be like executive level. You're not even in IT no more. You're doing executive level stuff, and those jobs are far few in between. You may be talking about maybe 10 or 20 jobs, and they probably all filled. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
But you have to be responsible for your success and your development and growth.
Yeah, and it's not like, I think maybe school is to blame for this. If you work hard, if you do your thing consistently, you go up to the next grade level. All you have to do is do what you're supposed to do. In first grade, you're gonna make it to second grade. Then you're gonna make it to third grade. You know what I mean? So on. Then you're gonna graduate. Same thing with college. But when you at a job, if you just do your job, you're probably just going to stay right there. They don't have a career track for you to be in. It's not a ranking system. You got to go out, apply for different jobs, gain different skills to go to the next basically grade level to go up.
I got a question. Let's think through this. What you just said. How is school to blame for a person's thinking? Like at what point do a person think for themselves?
That's the thing. That's what I was saying. Like, you don't like exactly. They're teaching you from a.
No, they're teaching you, but I'm saying
from an age. This is how progression works. You live life and you see this is how progression works. I do the thing for a year on this level, and then I go up a level. Then I do the thing. That's how things work. If you can see things working this way all your life, and then when you get in a career, it's kind of different. You gotta learn that this has changed. You're not a child. This is not the military. You don't just rank up. You gotta gain those skills.
And I think what you just explained is what we should change the game in.
Exactly.
Because
that's what I'm saying.
I think that's more.
The problem.
Thing. I think that's more of the exposure outside, like having that mentor and networking opportunity, like having somebody that explain it to you versus school. Education only helps you to apply, but understanding that you got to think for yourself without like running over people and taking advantage of people, but being able to understand like how, especially when you get in high school, maybe elementary you don't really understand it yet, but when you start becoming an adult, how much you have to be accountable. First of all, what accountability means, and how much you have to be accountable. For me, this is for me. When I got to being on my own, I told myself I can't worry about now what I didn't know, what I wasn't told, or what I didn't have access to. I still got to make it happen with what I have now, and I got to learn along the way. I may slip and fall, I may bump my head, but I'm gonna get up and learn from it and keep moving. But not everybody goes to that point in their thinking. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the part. Like, I guess I got to the point where I can't blame nobody for what I don't have, because a lot of times, when I was in high school, even when I wasn't working during my free time, I should have been doing some other stuff. I should have been doing that extra thinking or learning about some other stuff, but I didn't because I just wanted to have fun, do leisure stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you pay the price for that, because the more leisure stuff you do, you can't carry that with you. It's just for that certain amount of time, and then it's done.
Yeah.
Versus learning a skill set, like if I was learning about coding or something in high school or programming, I could take that into my adulthood as well. But I couldn't take going to the hall of industry into my adulthood. Those are just memories.
Yeah.
But it ain't no
experience skill. And like that you really can't really use.
Right.
That's really tailored for that environment. You can't, like, maybe you use salvage the networking skills.
Maybe, maybe.
And that's at best.
At best, yeah, that's at best, exactly.
And he's not talking about giving up your leisure, because leisure time is good for your mental health, relaxation, growth, whatever. But he's just talking about half or even a quarter of that leisure time. What could have been the benefits? Like, you know what I mean? If he set aside a quarter of that leisure time, set a seed, you know what I mean? The tree that could have grown from the seed of just 25% of that.
And this is what I'm saying too, right? I'm gonna give you something to think about. If somebody told you, if you sacrifice 5 years of your leisure time, at the most 8 of your leisure time, after that, the next 25 or 30 years, you have success plus leisure time. How many people would do that?
And the quality of your leisure time would be so much.
Yes.
Like the quality of your leisure time is in Cancun now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Instead of you know what I mean, in Southwest Walmart.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thinking that we need to change with our youth. Is like, dude, leisure time is cool, but when you're talking about your success and your future, especially when you don't have access, you don't have an inheritance, you don't have nothing. When you graduate, you have to make some solid decisions to have a solid future. If you make poo-poo decisions, you're gonna have a poo-poo future. Is that debatable, or is that clear as mud? Is that clear?
That means not clear. It's clear as water, crystal clear.
Some people think it's clear as mud. They think you being beam. I'm saying if a person could be honest with themselves, because I had to go through this process too. A lot of the decisions, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna find my old resume. I think I may have found it when I was working before I got into IT, and show people the jobs I worked before I got into IT. And understand, like, I've worked these jobs. I understand the grind. I've worked 2 jobs before. You know what I'm saying? I worked the 2 to 11 shift and then worked the graveyard shift. Then did all kind of stuff.
And it didn't, man, it don't build up to nothing. Like, that time that you spent working those 2 jobs,
yeah,
it's just there. It's just that time. You know, that's just what they occupied.
For sure.
It didn't contribute to your growth, your skill set, or anything like that. it didn't increase your own earning potential. You just like work, like 16-hour days. You got money in exchange for your time, but nothing else.
Boy.
No skills or nothing like that. Sorry about that.
So our next question is, how do you counterthink or safeguard yourself from being taken advantage of when you're leveling up?
Yeah, because sometimes you can be so eager, you know what I mean, to get these opportunities. These schools that don't grant you certification, you know what I mean, they'll just give you a certificate of completion and you gave them $5,000
Yeah.
to learn something they not certified in. It's people can train you to be a dental assistant, but they're not certified for nothing. You know what I mean? You can't do this. Or
Right.
I can train you to be IT help desk wizard. Like, what's a wizard?
Right.
Like, is it at a technical position? You know what I
Boy.
mean? You're taking advantage of people's
Right.
eagerness. Well, you can be an EKG tech. I can. Well, you don't need to be certified to be an EKG tech, but
Right.
you're gonna charge me $3,000 to do something they train you on a job for. You know
Boy.
what I mean? Maybe, well, we'll teach you how to be a medical mentor. What is a medical mentor, sir?
Boy.
And you
They
get
probably got a master class on it. 'Cause they
exactly. You know what I mean? Sell people stuff like with fancy names that won't like get them anything.
Boy.
You know what I mean? So
So this is what I say, right? It's like Legos. You need to learn how to network, right? And learn how to think, like have a strategy or think. Like he said, working at the hospital, right? People, it's like a give and take game, right? Sometimes you have to give some ground to take some ground. Like we working at the hospital, right? We say, hey, you want to do EKGs? But you don't have to get a certification. So you think, why do they not want me to get a certification? They're not going to tell you why, but you have to think about the why. Is it because they don't want to pay me full price of what an EKG person is? Or if I get in this position, what can I do to get certified without having to go through him? And then once I get certified and I got the experience, now I'm universal. I can go to any hospital now. It's just like say working like say, if you got good networking skills, you mess around and meet somebody, dude, you can get in this scrub tech program and you do it for 5 years and you're good. And yeah, show me the paperwork. You got good networking skills, they show you the paperwork. You go to the school to be a scrub tech, work there for 5 years and they pay for your school. Now you're universal. You don't have to stay at that one place now. That's the give and take. You're giving ground and you might not get paid as much on the front end, but you're sacrificing going to school, getting experience at the same time. So you're not going to have all the leisure time because you're trying to study to be the best scrub tech that you can be so you can be efficient. And then you get finished with scrub tech school. You go through the 5 years. Now you can start hanging out and doing what you want to do. Plus you got the money to do it now.
And your new base pay is
Yes.
higher. And it don't go once you're certified and you have those years of experience. This is your base. It's not right here no more. This is your base pay wherever you go, wherever the state you go. And now you're working 8-hour shifts and getting paid the same amount of money that you would you used to work 16-hour shifts to do.
Right. And that's why I don't fall for those jobs that tell you, they do tuition reimbursement, but you have to figure out around the schedule that they putting you on, but they're steady changing your schedule.
Yeah.
Or you working long shifts that you don't even have time to go to school. So it's like one of them weird misleading benefits.
Yeah.
You working 16-hour shifts. Unless you go into a college those online colleges where you take one class a semester or something like that and you just work that one class and you got time to do that, that's the only way you could probably do that. But going to a traditional college and trying to do that, work 16 hours, I'm not saying it can't be done, but the level of execution and discipline that you got to have has to be great.
And you got
You know what I'm saying? The metric of that has to be great.
And you got to see the fine print, right? So
Oh yeah, definitely.
they do tuition reimbursement. You work like maybe like 9 to 5 or something like that, or you work 12s or whatever your schedule may be.
Right.
But they exclude online classes. Like, so how you gonna go to school?
Exactly.
Like, you work during school hours,
Right.
but they'll pay for your school. But they say you can't go to school online.
Right.
So what, you gonna get some weekend classes? You know what I mean? So you gotta look at that. You know what I mean? The hidden restrictions in the benefits they provide for you can take advantage.
This is a bonus one right here, right? We talk about networking, we talking about leveling up, we talking about safeguarding yourself from being taken advantage of, going into business with people you don't know. I'm talking about like that you don't fully know.
Yeah. Or
Like you don't got nothing written down on paper. Y'all just start something, do something, and don't have it written down, right? With somebody like a party you just met or something like that, you don't know this person. It happens all the time. And then you invest, you put money into this, and then when stuff start happening, the person be like, well, you didn't sign no paperwork.
oh yeah.
Or they just jet on you. You don't even know. And it's like, did you know this person? Well, man, he had a good deal. No, did you know this person though?
Yeah, I mean, do you know them on paper? You know what I mean?
Do you know this character?
Yeah, exactly. They took the whole business idea, you know, started the LLC. Y'all thought it was y'all's 50-50.
Right.
You didn't look at the paperwork.
Nope.
It's his 100%.
Yep.
So your partner 50%. Matter of fact, you doing 75%. He doing 25%. Just fire you one day.
Boy. And then it's just a trust factor thing. Like, you go into business with somebody, do they really value business as much as you do? Or are they going to destroy the business? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, they want to go into business. Like, say, okay, think about what you're talking about, selling cars, right?
Yeah.
Get the dealer's license. Get the land and stuff set up. You get going. And then they're like, man, I don't like going to auctions like that. Why did you want to go into business selling cars?
Yeah.
I don't like getting up, you know, early in the morning, you know, going to Odessa. Why did you want to go into business selling cars? See, you have to understand this person before. If people ask you this, you're like, dude, you don't even like getting up early in the morning. Why do you want to sell cars for?
Yeah.
And some people think, you know, they just want to ride your coattail. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of celebrities, like, they cut their homeboys off. It's like the homeboy just there, not doing nothing.
Yeah.
He not trying to be like a manager. He not trying to book road trips. He's just there just collecting money, pretty much.
Yeah, or benefits, or whatever the side benefits is. I'm a people manager, you know what I mean? I can see your talents and I can put them to use.
Exactly.
Like, you don't like getting up in the morning, but you like doing books, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Hey, I don't care if you do them in late at night. You know what I mean? I want these accounts like straight. You handle this portion of it.
I don't care if you do it at 2 o'clock in the morning, as long as it get done.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You don't like getting up in the morning, but you the person who gonna be working on the cars.
Right.
Work on the cars, like, that's your part. Do your part. I will get up, do the auction part, and negotiation parts, because we like to talk. We have the money. That's fine. We can do that. You fix cars in your garage whenever you feel, and then you have these the books straight by the end of the week. I don't care. You know what I mean? But you know, you can't just be doing nothing.
Not everybody can execute. That's the thing. Like, understanding, can this person execute based off their behavior? Because everybody has a pattern, whether you want to believe it or not. Yeah. Some people are consistent. Some people are not.
Consistently inconsistent.
Right. And some people will execute. Some people are not good at execute. Because, like, say, if you analyze, those are analysis paralysis, you analyze everything. By the time you realize the opportunity is gone, you can't execute on that no more.
Yeah, you know, and then like you always a year behind. And some people, they got good intentions, but they just need to be motivated. You know, some people you gotta, you know, like if you call them and wake them up, they gonna work for you.
But see, here's the thing: will you be willing to do that for 2 years?
No, see, exactly. Yeah. You gotta know that about yourself. If you gonna will they get better? You know what I mean? And you got to do, like for me, you got to do some extraordinary work. When my alarm clock wake me up, I got to make sure I wake up Steve. Hey, Steve, wake up. Now, if you doing average work, Steve, I ain't going to call you.
Boy.
But if you doing some extraordinary, like, hey, Steve going to make it happen.
But they got to be maintain extraordinary, not just one day out the week, not just on Wednesday.
You got to be consistent.
Yeah.
If I'm consistently waking you up, but something like, okay, I can do that. Like it's riding a bike. You know what I mean? You get that first part, balancing and starting the paddle. I can get you there, but I'm not gonna keep pushing you and getting you started. I can get you started. Hey man, you can do it. I believe in you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But eventually, I'm gonna want you to start paddling.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So if I gotta do that every day, or in 6 months we still doing that push stuff, no, I can't do that. That's beyond motivation to me.
Well, some people think that's mean. They be thinking you mean though.
I mean, I tried. Look, how mean?
And they'll be thinking
how mean was it when I was pushing you? Look,
right. And see, that's how you get the people telling they only tell their side of the story. Oh, they ain't want to help me. They ain't want to do this. They ain't want to do that.
I woke you up every morning.
When you actually can see the whole situation. You're like, they did. Trying to help you, you didn't want to take the help.
You're like, you know what I mean? What else did you expect another grown man to do for you?
So I wonder that sometimes, like, I had to challenge myself, like, what stops you from reaching that next level of wanting to be consistent? Is it because you have to let go of something that you do leisurely? Is it because, you can't do the things you used to do because you got to be consistent now? Like, what stops a person from like going to that next level?
I don't know. It's because
I know it's based on the individual. I'm pretty
based,
sure.
Yeah, it really is. But I just like I did a little like health self fitness. You know what I mean? Can you consistently do 10 push-ups a day? Right? It's probably 10 seconds, 20 seconds to do that. It's not the time.
Is it 10 seconds? If you don't do push-ups a lot?
Well, but 20, maybe 30 seconds.
I'm going to say a minute.
A minute to do. Okay.
The average person? Okay. We're talking about the average person, bro.
Okay, but you can't.
Everybody don't have Hulk Hogan arms like you, man.
Flabby. But you can't do that. And it's not the time. It's really not the effort and the energy. It's the consistency. So sometimes maybe it's the change in it because people always say the fear of change and everything. Man, people want more money. They want to be stronger. They want to look better. Right. You know what I mean? And little things don't take that much work. I don't know. I really don't know what it is, the disconnect. You know what I mean? I'm getting ready to do it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna start the first of the month. I got to start on the first. You know what I mean? I start next pay period with the saving, or it costs too much money to start school or whatever. You know what I mean? So, am I gonna really get paid? So, it's a lot of ifs.
Right.
It's a lot of mights, maybes. Reasons, excuses,
see, another thing,
justifications.
Like when you become good at networking, you become good at being consistent. Because that's the thing about networking too. On the other side of networking, you have to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to deliver on what you're selling to this person. If you tell them that you're good at this, you got to be able to deliver on that. And I've seen them on 2 hours. A lot of people they're good at networking, but they don't have they don't know how to deliver though. They talk a good game.
They're good commercials, but they don't deliver. Or they take really good interviews, and you get these people. Their resumes look good, but you wonder why they get these maybe top level jobs and they stay for a year or 2 years. You know what I mean? Like why? Like that job, I know that job pays good. Why this person available? You know what I mean? They resume look good. They interview good. They look good. And a friend of mine, they got a chief that's just kind of basically the same thing. Like, why is this person available? They were so happy when they got him. You know what I mean? The credentials. That person didn't know how to do nothing. You know what I mean? And the delegation wasn't even there. You know what I mean? My delegation gonna be on point. If I don't know, boy, I'm George Bush that thing.
Yep. So that's what we just made an acronym this whole podcast: networking, consistency, and execution. You need those 3 things. They go hand in hand, like 3 Legos stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, because you can get taken advantage of, you know what I mean?
real
If you
fast.
have the skills
Real
and not the
fast.
networking or not selling yourself, you know what I mean?
Or you
you
can
can
take
bring $100 worth of value, you know, every day, but we're gonna pay you 25 because you weren't able to know your worth or at least communicate your worth to the, you know, or sell
or
it.
right. You can either get taken advantage of, or you can take advantage of situations.
Yes, sir.
Pretty much, you know. Eat or be eaten, you know what I'm saying, kind of deal. Because the world is like a food chain out here, whether we want to believe it or not.
Yep.
You want to try to sugarcoat it, but I'm telling you, the world is a food chain. And wherever you are on the food chain, that's where you, most of the time it's based on skill set. Is your skill set worth a higher value on the food chain, on the menu? Like, you know, ramen noodles and steak, two different values.
Yeah, and you can
know what I'm
wait to
saying?
be fed, and somebody can sprinkle.
You know what I'm saying? If
what
you got a ramen noodle,
yeah,
ramen
I mean,
noodle
there-
skill
there's a
set,
budget. Yeah,
a
exactly.
ramen noodle skill set, it's like 50 cent
Yeah.
a little thing of ramen noodle.
Yeah.
A steak, you know, they might be looking at
A
$18
pound,
a
right?
pound. It's per pound. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean? And why he eating steak? You know what I mean? Well, you waiting for your little, you know, ramen noodle money. They sprinkle it on you, or you can go get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can go get those skills.
You want to be paid like a steak, but you got ramen noodle skill set.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You got to get to the steak skill set.
You know, and that's something we can do for you. Like we can show you the hey.
Yeah,
these
we can make a
skills,
strategy. We can.
These skills are paid this much, or these and that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This
We may
is
do that
on
next
blah,
podcast.
blah, blah.
Yeah, we may do
You know
that
what I
next
mean?
podcast.
This is how attainable these skills are. You know what I mean? Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And things like that.
And we're gonna try to get people that work in these different fields too, and ask them like the skill sets for their field, and that's what we're trying to work on too. So, any doctors, anybody, principals, teachers, anybody that want to talk, chop it up with us, we can reach out to them. We can work out the schedules. I think that's probably the hardest part is the times, but we'll get all that worked out so we can give these kids the exposure to these different fields. What's a principal of a school district? What's an administrator? You know, what's a executive? You know, how do you get to the executive level?
And that's that's good because say if you're a child, or you're a youth and you wanna be a teacher, that's what and people keep telling you teachers don't get paid that much. Well, maybe you want to be an administrator, you know what I mean?
Right, and maybe that's a path you got to take to get paid.
Exactly. Don't
Like-
let somebody kill your dream or what you want to do because they say that doesn't make
Right,
money.
and before you get locked in on the dream, make out a strategy and plan, do the research, and see what's the trajectory of being a teacher.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. We're not saying kill your dream. We're saying make sure that the dream makes sense so you can support your family. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. If you want to have kids, get married, have kids, support your family, that's what it's all about, you know.
And you got to think, you are your family. Until you have a family, you are your family.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You are like, well, I don't want kids. Take care of yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you love somebody, hey, take care of your mom. Like, you know what I mean? Take care of yourself. Make your mom happy.
Boy,
you know what I mean?
boy.
It ain't nothing. As a parent, when you see your kid self-sufficient, doing good for themselves, I know when my son first learned how to walk, you know what I mean? I was just so happy he's supporting himself,
Right.
feeding himself. You know what I mean? So, I can only imagine how happy I'd be when he's making his own money,
Boy.
supporting himself, supporting his family. Like, this is a person I raised,
Right.
making money, supporting other little people,
Boy.
teaching them.
Right.
You know what I mean? That'll make me happier than being rich myself.
Boy. For real.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. All right, guys. We're finna get ready and sign out. Want to say thanks for watching again. Episode 37. Any comments, share, subscribe, engage, let us know. And we're finna roll out and make some more content, doing some other stuff. But yeah, we're finna get ready to wrap it up and just really start getting it done. And I'm finna drive through this homework too and start getting this homework done, man. End this semester out. Try to finish strong. But thanks for watching.
thanks.
Hit the like button. Let us know what you think. And we are out.